In the previous lecture, we have seen the first type of population interaction. It is nothing but the mutualism. In this lecture, we are going to see the remaining 5 types of interactions. Okay, the second type of interaction, it is nothing but the predation. In the predation, the one species is get benefited and other species is getting harmed. So it is both positive and negative type of interaction where species A is get benefited and species B is getting harmed. In case of the predation, the example in front of you is nothing but the predation. In case of predation, the example is nothing but the cheetah and deer. Okay, so one is stronger and one is weak. Okay, so predation, it is very important type of interaction in case to balance the ecosystem. In the predation, one species is stronger, one species is weak. We know the food chain. In the food chain, the producer, that is nothing but the plants, is eaten by the herbivorous animals. Okay, that herbivorous animals, it is killed or eaten by the primary consumers. Okay, that is carnivorous, first stage of carnivores. Again, that carnivores are eaten by some other carnivores. So it is a chain where one species is killed another species and it is the food of that species. So there are two terms in case of predation. One is the predator and second one is the prey. Who is predator? Predator is nothing but the organism which kills the other organism. It is called as predator. And the prey is nothing but the organism which is getting killed by the organism is called as prey. So in case of cheetah and deer, the cheetah is predator and deer is nothing but the prey. So how the predation is important? Because if in a food chain, for example, take the example of tiger and goat, then tiger is a predator and goat is the prey. Goat feeds on the grass and tiger feeds on the goat. If the number of tiger population is decreases suddenly, so what happens? There is an increase in the number of goats, and that increasing goats are diminishing the number of grasses, whatever the grasses are there. So what is the effect of that? There are some small insects, small organisms, small animals living in the grassland. It is going to eliminated from the environment. So that is the effect of decrease in the predator or prey. So predation, both predator and prey, it is very much important to balance the ecosystem. Okay, this is the first example. Second example on your screen is nothing but the birds and the fishes. It is also a type of predation where birds are feeding on some of the fishes. In case of this, the predator is nothing but the birds and the prey is nothing but the fishes. So what predator does? Predator maintains the number of prey in the ecosystem. That will balance the all organisms, diversity of organisms on the environment, in the environment. So predation, it is very important type of the interaction among all these interactions which will maintain the ecosystem, environment balance, organism diversity and organisms population. Third type of interaction, it is nothing but the parasitism. Now parasitism is somewhat similar to the predation because here also one species is get benefited and another species is getting harmed as like that of the predation. But there is some difference in the predation and parasitism. In predation, the harmed species is getting killed Okay, the other species which have it is going killed by the stronger species. But in case of parasitism, the harmed species not getting killed, because there is a reason for that. Because in parasitism, two components are there. One is the parasite and second one is the host. The parasites are depends on the host. Okay, their life is depend, their food is depend on the host species. So that's why if they have to survive, they cannot kill that host species. And that's why in a parasitism, second harmed species is not getting killed. That is the major difference between the predation and parasitism. Okay, both conditions are same. One species is benefited and one is harmed. But in case of predation, harmed species is getting killed. But in case of parasitism, harmed species not getting killed. So in case of parasitism, there are mainly two types of parasites. One is the ectoparasite and second one is the endoparasite. Okay, the best example for the ectoparasite is nothing but the head louse. In human hairs, there are some of the small insects are there, head louses are there, and lice and lices are there. In case of cattle, there are ticks present on the skin of the organism. So ectoparasites are what? The parasites which lives on the surface of an host is called as ectoparasite. Example is the head louse in case of humans and ticks in case of cattle or other pet animals. Second is nothing but the endoparasites. Now these are different types of parasites, because these type of parasites lives inside the body of the host and they are surviving there. Best example for that in case of human being is nothing but the ascaris. Ascaris lives in the intestine of the human being. They live there, they grow there, they survive there and they reproduce there. Okay, so their entire life it is in the human body. So it is endoparasite living inside the body of the human being. This type of two types of endoparasites and ectoparasites are there, and by that way the parasites are living on the host organism where they are surviving on the host. So that's why they generally don't kill the host species or the organism, and by that difference the predation and parasitism is get separated. Otherwise here also one species is benefited and other species get harmed. Okay, this is called as parasitism. The fourth type of interaction, it is competition. Competition we know in case of human beings also competition is there. Competition for the education, competition for the marks, competition for the status, competition for the money, competition for the various purposes, food, shelter. Okay, there are different types of competition in case of human being. Okay, there are also competition in case of other animals, but these are for the essential things, not as such like that of the human. Okay, it is for the essential type of the competition. That means the competition for the resources, competition for the space, competition for the reproduction. Because in case of animals, to impress the female, the males have to compete with each other. They show their strongerness by competing with each other, and that's how they reproduce. So for the reproduction also there is a competition in case of other animals. So competition may be of two types. It may be between the same species and it may be between the different species. So the competition between the cell species, it is called as intraspecific competition. The example for that on your screen is competition between two cheetahs. Okay, cheetah both are of same species, but they are competing with each other. It may be for the space, it may be for mating purpose, or it may be for some other reasons. But they are competing, they are of species. So it is called as intraspecific competition. And second one is interspecific competition. The example on your screen is competition between lion and cheetah. So these are two different species, but they are competing for same resources, for space, for food, for nutrient. Okay, so they are competing with each other. It is called as interspecific competition. So competition may be between the same species, intraspecific, or between the different species, it is interspecific. But what results competition? Competition results into harming both the species. The species A and B both getting harmed, so it is called as negative type of interaction. So remember students, competition always results into harm to the both sides, competing side and our side also. So avoid the competition and focus on your study. So competition is a negative type of interaction where both the species get harmed, and it is the worst type of the interaction, or very dangerous type of interaction in all these types of interaction, because here both the species are getting harmed. Okay, so it is called as competition. There are so many species, there are so many examples of the plants and animals also which shows the competition. Then the fifth type of interaction, it is nothing but the commensalism. Now in commensalism, it is positive type of interaction, because in commensalism one species is get benefited and other species is neutral. That means the other species is not benefited, not harmed. So how the commensalism occurs? For that we are taking the example is nothing but the big fishes like that of the sharks in the oceans or sea, and the small fishes. So how the commensalism occurs between them? In case of oceans, sharks preys on the smaller fishes, smaller than them fishes. When they are feeding, okay, they are crushing their body, their food, and at that time there are some small pieces which getting loosened by the shark. Okay, and now what the other small fishes does, they catch that pieces and they feeding on that pieces. So that small fishes get benefit by the shark. Okay, but shark has any of the effects? Can he harm, or can it is get harm? No, because whatever he wants he eats, and what is remaining it is going outside, and that material it is catched by the species. So small fishes get benefited and shark remains neutral. That is called as commensalism. Now example of commensalism in case of plants. For example, epiphytes growing on the trees. Example, orchid. Orchids growing on the mango tree. So orchids get support from the mango tree. So there is a benefit of the orchid. But mango tree doesn't have any type of effect of that. That means it is not getting harm. So one species is benefited and other species is neutral. That is called as commensalism. It is a positive type of interaction. And last is nothing but the Ammensalism. It is somewhat different type of interaction called as a negative type of interaction. and it is exactly opposite to the commensalism, because here one species is getting harmed and other species is neutral. The one example for that is the culturing of the bacteria. During that culture, whatever the bacteria secreting enzymes, that enzymes not harmful to them because they are secreted by them, so it is not harmful to them, so that bacteria are neutral by that secretion. But if in a same culture other bacteria are growing, if this secretion is going to near them, then that is affecting them. That is negative type of interaction. So that other bacteria is getting harmed. So this is called as one species is getting harmed and one species is neutral. This is called as Ammensalism. These 6 types of interactions is divided into majorly 3 types. In that, positive type of interaction, mutualism and commensalism are the positive type of interaction where no species is getting harmed. Negative type of interaction is nothing but the Ammensalism and competition, where both or one species is getting harmed and no one species is get benefited. It is called as negative type of interaction. And both positive and negative type of interactions, predation and competition, where one species is benefited, one species is harmed. By this way, we completed this unit from organism and that is organism and population. Thank you very much.